And welcome back to coverage here of the Magic the Gathering World Championship. Marshall Sutcliffe with Paul Cheon. We are early in the day here on round number 2. We've just completed our draft, and now we get to see what happens. This is the fun part. We watched Anthony Lee draft, and now we're going to get a chance to see him in action. Now he's going to be facing down against Kenji Sego here, and you can see their records are very similar. 6-0 and 1 draw there for Anthony. Kenji 6-1 with a loss there and no draws. You see they both actually started in 2010 as well. Let's take a look at their list. Again, this is the list that Anthony Lee ended up putting together. He's splashing that one little swamp up there for the Gingerbread Hunter you see in the upper right. And then everything else is kind of what we hope to see here. Outside of a couple, you know, the Candy Trail, the Prism, the 3 Bowls of Porridge, the Troublemaker Oof in the main. You know, he had to kind of scrap it out a little bit down at the bottom end.
Yeah, it looked like he's choosing to shave a land. I guess you have the Brave the Wilds, but choosing to shave a land just to have a little extra cards like Prophetic Prism and Candy Trail to kind of help smooth out your draws and give you a little more fodder for some of the bargain spells that he has in his
He's
deck.
also only played 1 Brave the Wilds. He has 2 in his pool. Let's take a look at Kenji's.
Oh,
same
mirror?
colors. Yeah.
Okay.
So he's playing a Troublemaker Oof in the main as well. He's got a Heartflame Duelist, and you see a mountain over in the right for that. Regal Bunnicorn, that card's performed well. Savior, Tanglespan, Scavenger. He's got 2 Sir Armonts. He's splashing a 2-headed Hunter. It looks like he's trying to get somebody.
Right.
Charm Clothier. He's got 1 Princess Takes Flight, Return, Bloodline. Oh, and look, there's the 2 Hopeful Vigils. They ended up with him.
2 Hopeful Vigils.
Oh, and he's playing Dawn of Hope.
2 copies of Sir Armont, Dawn of Hope if the games go long, and then Feral Encounter, right? Which has been a completely decent removal spell that you can play. And then in the late game, every now and then, you just have a lot of mana, and it's a 2-for-1.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll see how this goes. I think I like Anthony's build a little bit better, but Kenji's build has the gotcha factor with a couple of those cards, right? Oh, Double Strike and, you know, Feral Encounter and stuff can really get you. And of course, we'll see how that goes. Players are seated and ready in the feature match area. They look calm, cool, and collected, but I wouldn't be. This is huge, man. I mean, this is how their day is going to start for trying to make a run for top 8, try to play on Sunday for a world championship. You don't get those opportunities very often. Let's see how this goes for these players. Looks like Anthony won the die roll, and he's going to start off with his big bomb, Candy Trail.
Helps you find your bums.
This is what we call filler, right?
Yep.
This is the type of card that doesn't do much on its own, but holds its own and replaces itself.
Yeah, it's not the worst though, right? You can play it, and you know there are far worse cards that you can be playing in your deck. There are also better cards, of course.
Mm-hmm. It's also nice that it takes up the 1-drop slot where there's oftentimes that you don't have anything that you can do in that spot.
Right.
Now the 2 mana later, that is valuable. But
and look at this, Anthony has Princess Takes Flight and the Stockpiling Celebrant, the 1-2 punch here. Now you have the choice. Do you want to play the Oof? Okay, decided to play the Oof because let's say you go Princess Takes Flight, kill a thing, bounce it, play it again, then you play the Oof later.
Oof it.
You bargain it out.
Wow. All right, well, there's Welcome to Sweet Tooth now for Kenji. This is one of his best cards. He's going to make the token, and this is not a bad time for a little flying. You can kind of shut down Welcome to Sweet Tooth if you time things correctly.
Yeah, Anthony,
oftentimes it's just killing the human, but sometimes it's waiting a little bit.
Yeah, it works a lot better when you have instant speed removal, right? If you're holding a Torture Tower, Candy Grapple, or something like that. In this instance, the only way Anthony can prevent this from happening is casting Princess Takes Flight and then hoping that Kenji doesn't have a follow-up creature, which is pretty unlikely.
Which is unlikely in green-white.
Right.
Yeah. The other question is, what else are you doing?
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
and when you have the Celebrant in hand,
you're not.
Like,
you're not losing much.
You're kind of looking for an excuse to get Princess Takes Flight down. Plus, he did have a 2-drop, like smash for 4, kill something.
Yeah.
Also, you know, it's not the end of the world if Welcome to Sweet Tooth, you know, pumps 1 creature for a little bit. It's not.
Yeah, you want to try to avoid it if you can, but
right.
yeah, you can try to fight through it. But I mean, Welcome to Sweet Tooth just gives you so much, and this is like the floor, right? Where you're like, hey, I make a 1/1, and then I can potentially get 3 power and 3 toughness worth of stats on the battlefield. But you also get a food, and then if you had some hollow scavengers or something like that, you can make it even bigger. So, one of my favorite cards in the set.
Yeah, it's really performed well. Powerful, cool, interesting. And Anthony is looking and going, I got one of those. Actually, he's got 2 of those.
Right. He's playing a mirror.
You had the same idea I did.
Right.
Red Tooth Vanguard's going to hit the battlefield now for Kenji, and that would be a nice recipient of Chapter 3.
Yep.
And Anthony also realizes, you know, you're not going to block.
Well, it does have flying.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 4 in the air, and then just do that, scry. The Red Tooth Vanguard's going to be huge, but Anthony's hoping to find a way to remove the Princess Takes Flight. Does have the Kellen's Light Blades, but of course needs Kenji to have another creature to use that to bargain away the Princess Takes Flight.
But, you know, he does have 5 power out after this turn anyway.
Yeah.
Sometimes the flight just does open up the door for a bunch of damage to come across. You know, that's this worst case scenario.
Yeah, I've definitely still have played it in kind of my red-white aggressive decks where I don't have a ton of bargain, but it's still just a nice card to play kind of towards the end where you get a blocker through and get some extra, force some extra points of damage.
Okay, Sweet Tooth happens. And now you see the Vanguard is huge. Anthony's pulling the, you know, nice creature. Shame if something would happen to it.
If only I had a way to exile it somehow.
15.
Might as well jam.
14.
Oh, okay.
And he's got a Sky Beast Tracker to follow up, which actually is a good
It
blocker
sizes
in
up
this scenario.
perfectly here, yeah.
I wonder if Anthony should just pick a fight here and take that thing out and start jamming. Very tempting, of course, to get the Red Tooth Vanguard. Just
right.
It's a more powerful card on board, but 2-4 is kind of a brick wall.
Yeah, but Anthony doesn't have the most aggressive hand, so
couldn't really follow it up.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, fair
if
enough.
Kenji has a bunch of cards in hand, if he just plays another 3-3 or 4-4. So at least to me, it's really tempting to just run out the Princess Takes Flight here on the Vanguard and then try to find the opportunity to cast the Kellen's Light Blades with bargain.
Likely would be able to find that opportunity next turn. You know,
Yeah.
2-4's.
Unless Kenji maybe sniffs it out, right?
Yeah. And if he does, fine, but he has to pay a pretty dear price. It would be 5 damage.
Would have to take 5 damage. But if he's targeting the Vanguard this turn, Anthony can't even attack here, right?
Right. He has no attack.
Right. So then the next turn you would go take 5, you would go to 9.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's okay if that means that you can potentially get your creature back with Princess Takes Flight.
Get your 3-1 back. I guess it's worth it. Tough spot. At any rate, this turn's pretty easy for Anthony. He's just going to send that thing packing, at least for the time being, and ship the turn back.
And this is a Charm Clothier. Make a 3-5 reach creature and a 3-3, and you get the trigger. So Kenji will have 2 food on the battlefield.
Nice. Okay, so there's...
One. Dice. Dice. Sorry.
And that thing's going to pick up a Royal Roll.
The hat.
So nice board here for Kenji.
The shields are up.
Yep.
And he's got the Red Tooth Vanguard on layaway, although he probably suspects that there's a chance it won't come back.
Right.
And then Kenji's just going to pass the turn.
So can Anthony just...
Can he just send in with the Celebrant and...
Well, it's kind of safe to just attack with both, given the hand, right? Because you can bargain the Princess Takes Flight and kill anything, right? You just destroy target blocking creature.
Bargain the Kellen's Light Blades.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, but if you attack with both, he can put 3/3 on 2/2.
Well,
right?
the Princess Takes Flight gives +2/+2 and flying.
Oh,
to
he
one of
already
the
has that?
creatures.
Which one did he give it to?
That I don't know. Probably the Celebrant. I guess he's
Well,
still
if
thinking
he
right
gives
now.
it to the oof, then he actually has attacks with both, right?
Well, so if you make the Celebrant a 5/4, you can still just attack with that.
Yeah.
And if you attack with the oof and then, oh, I suppose you just put the 3/3 on there.
Right.
I mean, that's still not terrible.
Right. Either way, it's not terrible.
Like you kind of just want to just get this Princess Takes Flight off the battlefield, but I guess he's just attacking with the 5/4 here.
Fair enough.
And Kenji, I mean,
Aggressively.
maybe Kenji just takes it here,
Yeah, he might.
right? You're like, if you don't have a way to pick this up, I'm going to get this back. I have 2 food in play.
Is he considering a double block?
So he knows about Archon's Glory as well. So he's thinking about the combat tricks that Anthony might have. So it's, oh, takes
He's gonna
it.
take it. Nice, Kenji.
Oh,
9, double 9.
Maybe strand
is-
that princess takes.
yeah. It's like, why didn't you block? Okay, looking for a bargain spell here. Brave the Wilds. I'm really surprised he's not playing both of the Brave the Wilds.
I am too. Okay, he's got to pass a turn back, which makes things very awkward here for Anthony, because he kind of needs Kenji to attack with a Charm Clothier.
Oh, yeah, well, he might. Oh, he's going to get him
Okay,
still.
he's still going to
All
get
right.
him, because if he only attacked with the tracker, he wouldn't have enough mana.
Right. Oh, this is
But
brutal.
this is a solid blowout, though.
Yeah.
The Bestial Bloodline hit it as well. That's going to go to the graveyard. And honestly, a deft play around there from Kenji, but then maybe a little too aggressive there. He opened
I think you
himself
wait
up
a
to
turn.
a blowout.
I feel like you wait a turn. Anthony's turn, that turn was sack my Candy Trail, leave up 2 mana. Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So you got to think he's got something there.
Definitely.
Right? He's not adding to the board in any way. He's clearly looking for a bargain spell.
Definitely.
So that one's a little bit rough.
Yeah, now he's going to get smacked back here for 5 as well. And remember, he took the 5 the prior turn, so he's down to 4 now.
Yeah, now you can just put the cooped up potentially here on the tracker. Or just add to the board and just do it next turn because you can get in for more damage.
Right.
Sorry, 7.
So now any 2 of these creatures hit, and it's GG. Okay. Now there is a food token,
right.
So you know we'll keep that in mind. But
and Kenji is on 6 mana. I believe he might have Hamlet Glutton in his deck, but has a land in hand.
Okay, well he could use it off the top of the library here. Oh, it's another forest. So,
getting the Bestial.
Like he's going to do Bestial.
And Anthony's like, yes, do this, please.
Please.
I don't want you to play another creature.
Yes. Ooh, Gingerbread Hunter off the top there for Anthony. Look at the contrast in hands here. Just a land for Kenji and just pure action for Anthony.
Oh, yeah. It's like, let's just add 1 more aura over onto that tracker.
Turns out when you stop at 4 lands,
probably you need to pay the 1.
Yeah, that does have a royal roll on it.
Okay. Well, guess.
Wow, and he got the porridge down.
Got the porridge down. I don't think it would have mattered.
Didn't matter in this case, but yeah,
too many lands.
Easy to forget.
Yeah.
And Anthony did point out the problem there for Kenji. Said too many lands.
Yep.
It's definitely the case. All right, so game number 1 goes to Anthony Lee in the green-white mirror match. And we're going to head into game number 2 now. Wait a minute.
That's a mold of 5.
He's on 5? And Anthony's on 7.
Yeah, this is going to be
Wow, this
tough.
could be quick, Paul.
Right.
Leads off with his signature oof.
Turn to oof.
Yep. Making trubs. And it looks like there's a Princess Takes Flight now for Kenji.
But no way to exile it, so maybe just a glass casket here?
Oh.
Okay.
He's going to choose to ignore the oof.
Yeah. Valid play.
Yeah, it is.
Did Anthony find land number 3?
Don't think so.
Okay, well then that might give Kenji some hope.
Oh, and he's going to pass the turn back, and Kenji says, all right, so you're telling me we got a chance.
But Kenji...
It also means he has 7 spells in hand.
Right, right. And Kenji doesn't have a way to punish this either, right?
No, so he's going to casket up the oof now, and Anthony says, respect, respect. Yeah, this never ends well for Kenji.
No.
Right? Like, you get that little tiny bit of hope. Oh, redraw on the Prism.
Okay.
Oh, Prophetic Prism gets him there. GG, GG, GG. Let's see what happens. This is a very difficult spot for Kenji. He's down on material, and he's missing land drops as well.
Yeah, and if Anthony doesn't find a land, oh, did find a land. Had the Woodland Acolyte too, to just keep finding more lands.
Savior of the Sleeping for him. Come on, Kenji. There's a land.
Okay.
Does he have some way to stabilize here?
There's a Princess Takes Flight. I think Kellen's Light Blades might be in hand.
Okay.
So that's a way to get the, yep, there's a Kellen's Light Blades. Can use that to.
Anthony could play around it, but,
60?
oh,
All right.
never mind. On all fronts.
Right.
No playing around it, no casting it either.
Watch out. Go.
Watch out.
Does Anthony
Another
have a
sleep.
Woodland Acolyte in hand? He
Yeah.
does, right? Okay.
Graphics says so, yeah.
Yeah. I think I would have been interested in just playing that and just try to hit my land drops. Look
Just
at the
hand
hand.
dripping.
You just
Yeah.
have a bunch of 5s in your hand.
I agree. Charm Clothier, unfortunately no targets for it, so it's just the 3/3 flyer.
All right. Naturally drew it. So this is where Kenji's tapped out. You could potentially go Knightly Valor. A lot of great options here.
There is no way you're stopping me. Like, if they're tapped out, I'm like, all right, that's my green
All right,
light.
get in there.
This is the one chance I
Yep.
have, and there it is, Knightly Valor from Anthony Lee.
Alright, then
Yeah, this is going to get real ugly real quick here for Kenji. The only good news for him is he does have Princess Takes Flight, as well as Kellen's Light Blade. So
Right.
he has a combo
Yeah.
to effectively kill 2 creatures. The only thing I'm seeing here, though, that's missing is he has, you know, not much pressure.
Right.
Just
He's just kind of trying to play a controlling game here, but Anthony just has so many more threats than Kenji in this spot. So,
I mean, I like his ability to come back, right? He
Yeah.
can nab the Savior, although that would knock off the Valor and pump the other one, wouldn't it?
it sure would. It sure would. But you can use the Light Blades and sacrifice the Princess Takes Flight to get the other
Yeah.
Savior off the battlefield.
Then it's just Vigilance Knight
then it's just
against
Vigilance
Clothier.
against
That
Clothier. That's
does
not bad.
benefit Kenji, yeah.
But Kenji also knows that Anthony missed a land drop, so he has 5 spells in hand. So
Somehow Kenji's also drawn up to the same. Okay, there's Princess Takes Flight.
nice.
This
I
goes
get
here.
that as well.
That goes there. +1/+1 counter on the Savior.
Sleep.
I'm curious if Kenji has the time to try to take advantage of Chapter 2 on Princess Takes Flight, or if he just needs to say fine, 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 and get these 2 big threats off the battlefield.
I think he's at 12. It's just so tempting to use your mana here and just go Light Blades and get it off the battlefield.
Yeah.
Next turn you go creature into Bestial Bloodline. Could have played an Oof, I suppose. Not a lot of great targets, but could have used the Oof to kill the Prism and exile the sacrifice the Princess Takes Flight, potentially. Now this Moment of Valor will actually be relevant here. Anthony does have the ability to save this Savior of the Sleeping.
Whoa.
If Kenji sacrifices the Princess Takes Flight to cast the Light Blades. Did he
And
pass?
he did pass. So
Okay.
he's basically acknowledging the face-up nature of Kenji's game plan, but also choosing to not play into it.
Yeah, and look, I mean, Anthony punished Kenji game 1 with the Light Blades, with the Princess Takes Flight, and choosing not to play, not to run into it himself. He's like,
says, "I know
I
that."
did this last game. This is familiar.
It's
I'm gonna
interesting.
just take the damage and just pass.
Yeah, it's an interesting decision point for Anthony because he has the answer for it, so he can smash through for a bunch of damage and get some stuff going. But he also could just take the much more patient long-term approach and say, I'm just going to strand that thing.
Is that, oh, of course. Moment
it
of
got pumped.
Yeah, it got pumped. Yes.
So this gives him the way of taking off the Clothier, but he is going to Troublemaker oof his own Princess Takes Flight.
Oh,
And it does exile, if I'm not mistaken, right? All right, well, at any rate, Gingerbread Hunter's
Yeah.
going to take the oof down and go on a little adventure of its own. But that sequence
This
for
is-
Anthony Lee was
It's
that was
so rough.
nice.
I mean, yeah,
That was
Gingerbread
really
Hunter, look at that thing.
It's just sitting over there, and
And it's the only black card, right? So it's like, okay, I don't need this Prism anymore.
Yep.
Right? I just needed to
dude, that was
do the
nice
-2,
sequence
-2.
there from Anthony
Very good,
Lee. Like,
very good.
That was a blowout. Kenji has to just be looking and going, how am I losing these big board states over and over again?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Kenji's going to take, what, 5 here, and then Anthony can just go 7-mana Hamlet Glutton to follow that up.
Kenji has to decide if he wants to use his Kellen's Light Blades here.
Might just have to at 12 life, yeah.
Yeah.
And Anthony says, I knew you had it.
Unless you drew it last turn, in which case, you know.
No. You played around it correctly, Anthony.
Good job, Anthony.
Very nice. And there you go, the 7-mana Hamlet Glutton. Really nice there from Anthony. He's...
Not going to be enough here.
Yeah, there's a hopeful vigil. That's the only thing that Kenji gets out of this is that Anthony wishes he had that in his deck.
It's like, oh man, how'd you get that one?
Yeah. And then it looks like the Bestial Bloodline as well.
Anthony can go upkeep, get Moment of Valor back with the Woodland Acolyte, right? If he wants to get the 4/4 off the battlefield.
Sure.
4/4?
Or just get Knightly Valor back, right? Those are both good options.
Awesome.
Nope, he's going to make the first option that you described, Paul.
It's a permanent, excuse me.
It is permanent.
So you can get back Knightly Valor.
Yeah.
So,
I tried to return this Moment of Valor with this. It only returns permanent cards. So, I don't know, do I get a GRV or something? I don't know how.
Target this one?
Yeah, target this. I tried to target this. So,
this is what happens if a player makes a mistake is, you know, a judge is called and then they will...
just like illegal target, take it back.
Yeah, well, maybe the Knightly Valor. We kind of like that option anyway.
That's not bad, to be honest. I mean, we're looking at getting in for 5 and 6.
Right,
Neither can be blocked.
Don't have a Woodland Acolyte in my hand or anything.
So he's just going to draw this card for the turn rather than fire off that Mend the Wilds. Okay.
Check his food.
Big feller's going to hit the battlefield. There's the Gingerbread Hunter.
Has now the option to Light Blades away the 4/4, sacrificing the food.
These two.
And he's going to smash once again.
Yep.
A lot of power and toughness coming across. This green-white deck does have the ability to put out very large creatures.
He's like, I don't see any enchantments. What can you have?
It's a lethal attack.
Probably,
too.
you just need to block anyways, right? I
Has to.
So there's nothing to really
It's just throw it in
consider
front of the
here.
savior.
You know,
Yeah, that's your
you know
play.
what's up.
And he says, you know what's up.
Yeah.
I've got the Light Blades. Food's going to get binned. And you're going to fall down to 3, and it is hard to imagine coming back from this one here from Kenji Sego.
Was there an Expel the Interlopers that we missed?
No, there was not. And that is going to do it. Anthony Lee picks up the win. We got to see him draft the deck, and now he is 1-0 with this bad boy. And yeah, he is really poised to make a run. You know, he's got 2 more rounds of limited here with this deck, but if he can pick up even just one of those 2, let alone both of them, he's going to be in really good shape.
Yeah, and look, he's built a really, really solid deck. And one other thing that I want to highlight is just his play, right? In that game 1 was kind of close, a little bit back and forth, but I felt that he played in a way that allowed him to be able to take advantage of that Princess Takes Flight. And then game 2, played around it as well, right? So I think he's just playing at a really, really top level, and he's going to be hard to beat.
He is. You know, we saw 2 sequences of 2 plays, both in game 1 and game 2, where the game plan for Kenji just completely collapsed, and he was able to run him over. Okay, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we will have more magic for you in the form of Reid Duke versus Ken Takahama. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to coverage here at the Magic the Gathering World Championship. Marshall Sutcliffe with Paul Cheon. There's a lot going on in the building here with MagicCon happening as well as the World Championship. Got game nights on the stage over there, people battling it out. There's PTQs, there's 100K. There is a lot going on here in Vegas, but of course we are focused on top-level competitive play. And if that's what you're into, you're in the right place. We've got Reid Duke facing off against Ken Takahama. Take a look at them here. Little gap in top finishes there between the two. But there's not a gap in their records. 6-1 for both of these players as they enter their first draft round here. And taking a quick look at the deck list, very big gap here as well. Reid Duke's looks a little messy. There's triple Brave the Wilds, double Return to the Wild, so he can kind of get whatever mana he wants going. So you think, oh, what payoffs does he have? Well, there's some.
Yeah.
But not, you know, these aren't the haymaker bombs that you'd kind of hope to see here.
Right. I mean, the deck makes sense, right? You have double Root Rider Fawn, Bramble Familiar, you have up the Beanstalk, and you're just trying to get up and play your Hamlet Gluttons. You see that Gingerbread Hunter, that's a card that he likely took over Agatha's Champion when Reid Duke was passing over to Anthony Lee. But,
yeah,
you know, it's got a ton of mana fixing, but yeah, I think that it could potentially use a little more power, right? Because a lot of the power here is just in your commons.
That's right. You know, I also think that the times when we see Reid draw up the Beanstalk are going to matter a lot. He has 7 5 or more mana spells, so he can really get that going. Now, you want to see a deck? Take a look at this beast from Ken Takahama. This is a deck. Red Cap Gutter Dweller, double Twisted Sewer Witch, Spectre of Mortality. There's a Spiteful Hex Mage down in the 1-drop slot.
Got that really late.
He's rared up. Man, he's got it all.
Double Rat Out. I mean,
double
this is
Candy Grapple?
This is a rat tribal deck. It's got a decent curve, double Candy Grapple. I mean, this deck looks exceptional.
This is fantastic. Like, this is the type of deck you're not supposed to get at a tough, you know, Day 2 World Championship pod.
But I mean, as I mentioned during that draft, I was like, there are some cards going really late, right?
The Spiteful Hex Mage.
Spiteful Hex Mage, Fairy Dream Thief, right? Those were cards that you just saw. You're like, this shouldn't be in this pack with after 5 cards, but it was there, and Ken was the one who got all of it.
Now, you won't be super shocked to learn that we are coming in game number 2, and Ken managed to pick up game number 1. That said, I really want to see if Reid can get up the Beanstalk going, because I think that that's a difference maker for him. He's got Root Rider Fawn to start it off. There's Spiteful Hex Mage there for Ken.
Yeah, and getting those Hamlet Gluttons are great against a Rakdos strategy.
We see no Candy Grapple here to kill the Root Rider Fawn and clear the attack for 1. Up to 4 mana available now for Duke. Ideally, the Spiteful Hex Mage is able to put that curse roll on, say, a rat or you know, something that can carry it a little better. But it'll sit there until it can be bargained away.
I love that Reid Duke is just choosing to play ramp in both formats.
Oh yeah,
right.
Go big.
Your turn.
Their team is doing Team China Fireball doing extremely well with the Bant ramp deck in Standard, and Reid's just like, you know what? I'll just run it for this limited format too.
Also interesting, you know, Return from the Wild's most common gets a land in a 1/1, but Reid decides to get a food here.
Yeah. Perhaps he feels that the life is more relevant against Ken's aggressive rat strategy here.
Pass back to you.
Ooh, interesting. Ken not doing much here.
So Ken did have Ratcatcher Trainee in hand.
Okay.
So it's just going to be making 2 1/1s here at end of turn.
Bargain, gain 3. Yep.
Boom! There it is.
Ooh, okay.
Hamlet Glutton.
Turn 4 Hamlet Glutton, pretty good.
And there's the trainee.
And
but
I mean,
boy, Reid is going cleanly over the top at this point.
And the sizing too, right? Candy Grapple does not deal with Hamlet Glutton.
Unless you block a rat.
Yeah. You'd have to, and you can bargain away the curse roll on the Spiteful Hex Mage.
Yeah. And let's see what Ken does for this turn. This is a big turn for him. Merry Bards.
Okay. That's a way to get rid of the curse roll as well.
Gonna replace it with an upgrade.
But no attack still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Okay, so the board is getting built out. Things are getting slightly scary, but Reid's at 23. and has a 6/6 trampler and a 1/3. So
does need to be mindful though of the Twisted Sewer Ridge. Ken has 2 of them.
wow.
Right, 2 of them. I would venture to
That's
guess
insane.
decent chance he lost to that card in game 1. So has to be mindful of that when deciding, you know, how aggressive he wants to be here. Now with that Glutton in play at 23.
Oh, there's the up the beanstalk I
Okay.
was hoping. Now it's a little later than I hoped, but still, I mentioned it before. You don't see this very often, and Reid built his deck specifically to accommodate. He has 7 cards that cost 5 or more mana.
Yeah.
Normally, these decks will have like 3.
Right.
You know.
A ton of ramp as well.
Right, but he basically never misses a land drop because of Brave the Wilds, and then he has ramp in. Well, you can see the cards right there on the battlefield with the Root Rider Fawn and Return from the Wilds. So he can get up to that 5, 6, 7 mana quite easily.
Put target card you don't own in exile on the bottom.
Oh, that's nice.
A little extra value there. Sentinel of Lost Lore.
Yeah, that thing's going to send. Basically, it can get you one of your adventure cards back.
Right.
It can send an adventure card permanently away from your opponent, and you can exile a graveyard, and you can do any of them. Oh, there it is, a Twisted Sewer Witch, just as you described, Paul.
And just think about, I mean, it's going to be hard to attack, but think about just what this card just did, right? It's a 5 mana 3/4 that made a 2/2 and put +1/+1 counters on 2 other creatures. So for 5 mana, you got 9 power.
So would you
Well,
rather
no,
have this or Grave Titan? That's
7
the
power.
only question.
Okay, I'm going to take Grave Titan.
Okay,
but
fine. This is only 5,
This
though.
is an uncommon.
Yeah, no, this is insanity.
It's very, very strong.
And of course, those
23, 20?
wicked rolls are
23,
very annoying late in the game.
Play
Oh, is he going to
Fetch
get to trigger the
Quest.
Beanstalk
Play
here?
Judge.
Oh, this is
Fetch
Bramble
Quest.
Familiar.
Spell with mana value 5 or greater. Draw a card
Absolutely.
from the Beanstalk.
Fetch Quest is going to trigger up the Beanstalk, and
Oh,
then he's going
man,
to
all
mill
right.
7, and he can get a creature enchantment
Okay.
or land.
Oh, there's the Hamlet Glutton.
And there's also a Ginger
Putting up to 26 here.
Bread Hunter.
Oh, man. Even casting Fetch Quest on the Bramble
That is
Familiar.
awesome. His ramp spell was a ramp target, as it turned out.
Wow.
Now, that does just put it on the battlefield, so he'll only get the 1 trigger, but that's awesome.
That's, I mean, that's. Now, Ken does notably have Bellowing Bruiser in hand, which could make it so that the Hamlet Gluttons can't block. The 3/4 is still annoying, but perhaps that might be enough for Ken to set up a, hey, I'm going to make it so 2 of your creatures can't block, get in for a bunch, and perhaps I can finish you off on the following attack.
Right, or, you know, again, the wicked rolls add up.
Right?
This has been interesting because the players aren't interacting yet.
They're just, yeah,
It's-
they're both doing their thing.
Right, and they're
Right.
doing really good versions of their thing.
Right.
And I guess we get to find out which of the 2 is better.
5 mana.
3/3 flying.
Okay.
3/3
Just-
flyer.
Just a 3/3 flyer.
Okay, yeah, there's nothing in the yard, so
Okay.
it's just going to be a 3/3 flyer, though that does, right? No reachers down there?
Yeah, that can help whittle Reid's life total down. Ken maybe trying to set up that bruiser later.
It's got a lot of whittling to do. 26.
Right.
for
But at
Reid.
what point is Reid going to start turning this around and start actually attacking with this creature?
Right now, yeah. Attacking with both of the 6/6s is nice. The downside, you know, one of them can get double blocked and just trade off for 1 creature on the other side.
Yeah, Ken can go put the Spectre of Mortality plus the Twisted Sewer Witch
That's right.
on one of the Gluttons here. Any other double block would mean that Ken would lose 2 creatures. Not sure that Reid can afford to play combat tricks in this deck, so
Yeah,
it's
no.
probably pretty safe to double block. The Gingerbread Hunter's also already been revealed.
Yeah, so the rest of those cards go in your yard?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Bummer. Ken, with just the 1 mana available, would Rat Out change the equation here? It would only be 5 damage? It actually would,
It would.
wouldn't it?
It would if one of the cards in hand is
That
rat
blocks
out.
you.
Wow. Okay, just taking it all.
All right, Ken, I like it. Just takes 12 damage.
Reid's at 26.
Yeah, he still wants to race. What does Reid have?
Pass.
And
Okay.
Archer. Oh, and that blocks the Spectre.
He's got a Sky Beast tracker, right? So now he's not going to take any damage potentially. Although one thing we've missed here from Ken is his excellent removal suite has not yet played into this game. I mentioned that the players aren't really interacting with each other. Ken's the one with all the interaction.
Right. But if you don't double block there, what is your plan, right? Because you can't kill Reid this turn.
Right.
And Reid's just going to attack again next turn, and you don't have great blocks.
Yeah.
Because your creatures aren't really good at blocking. So I feel like the double block might have almost been necessary.
Did kind of feel like that. Although Ken is doing combat math here of the highest order. You know?
Does he have like a gnawing crescendo or something in his deck? Because that might change things up. There are two.
This is Bellowing Brute, so he can make it so that there's only one blocker.
+3 though.
I bet.
Tapping all the red.
Wow, all the red's tapped. So that means that only the Root Rider Fawn can block. But this is not a huge attack.
A big attack at all. So
it's only for 4.
Yeah, Reid's looking to be in a really good spot here.
This one. 4 damage, 22.
What is Ken's game plan? He's just going to pass.
He's just trying to get some damage through, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. Reid's start was phenomenal here.
Filter black mana and Candy Grapple your Spectre.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now who's on the offensive? That was Reid trying to be mana efficient.
So
Candy Grapple's very good.
That also tells me he likely has another big play this turn if he wanted to use his mana there, because that would have been an excellent combat trick.
Right, especially with the Trampler.
Right.
Uh-oh, that's
getting the
4
Reach
creatures
creature in there. It's like the Gluttons, at the very least, will be getting in.
Right, that worked last time.
Right.
Last turn.
I mean, let's just look at the toughness here. Ken Takahama side, you have a 3/4, a 3/2, and a 3/2, right? So that's 8 toughness. And we're looking at 12 points of trample damage.
Also, is his...
Okay,
he's going to scoop. Yeah, I think the Bruiser ended up in the yard, too. That should be on an adventure, right?
Right, yeah.
At any rate. Okay, well, that is game number 2 going to Reid Duke. He got to do the thing, right?
He absolutely did.
He did. You know, he even had the beanstalk, but he mainly just got to ramp out some huge cards. And strangely, Ken couldn't find any of his removal. Looking at his list, he's got a ton of it.
I'm going to put an island in my hand. Yep.
So Brave the Wild's turn 1.
Let's see if Ken
for Duke.
Have a quicker start here.
That's
on
better.
Play.
Monstrosity to start. I mean, Ken got 1 attack in, and it got in for 4, knocking Reid all the way down to 22.
And Reid was able to go turn 4 Hamlet Captain.
Hamlet Captain, yeah. How about Glutton?
Oh, excuse me, Hamlet Glutton, rather.
Yeah, it was a little better. You want a 2/2 or a 6/6?
Yeah.
Can I interest you?
Okay.
All right. Get that Monstrosity out of here, although it is just back in hand.
Oh, no. Oh, no, that's a land. He's got a land.
He's got a Fairy Dream Thief here.
Wants a red source here, though.
So this is Surveil 1.
Yep.
And he's going to get rid of it and then follow up with the Monstrosity again. Big turn for Reid. Maybe a return from the wilds.
That would be kind of the ideal card,
Make a
I would say.
1/1 this time, yeah. It's Monstrosity's least favorite thing to see.
Pull this back to my hands.
Okay, well, he's going to go for a little value.
3/4 is perfectly fine here, too. Now, does Ken have something like a rat out to at least potentially trade the Monstrosity for the Sentinel? Nope.
Nope. Sure doesn't.
I don't know that Ken has found a red source here. That's right. Oh, that is rough.
Okay, blood in the water now for Reid Duke. If he can continue to hit those land drops and get up to the big, powerful 5, 6, 7s that he has.
Yeah, has all his mana.
Does he have a Fawn here?
Draw.
No, he's got up the Beanstalk. But remember, he did bring back his adventure creature, and he could just bounce the Monstrosity
right, and then attack in for 3.
Yeah.
It's a great use of the mana. The only other thing to consider would be if Reid had a mana accelerant here.
Oh, he does.
He does.
Root Rider Fawn, and he's just going to pass his turn back, leaving his 3/4 on blocking duty for the Monstrosity. Man, if Reid can get by Ken, that is going to be huge for him, because there's no way, I mean, we haven't looked at every list, but there's no way somebody has a better deck than Ken Takahama's in this pod, right?
Probably.
Is this a 9 out of 10? A 10 out of 10? Like,
I mean, he's got a couple of Merry Bards, which aren't at its best, because Ken's...
Well, the problem is
fine.
he keeps drawing them.
Well, he keeps drawing them, and also not finding the mountains either.
Cast them, yeah.
Oh, look at Ken. He's like, you know what? I'm so behind. I'm just going to kill your mana creature and prevent you from getting to your expensive cards.
Candy Grapple's going to send the Root Rider Fawn packing. But Reid can just do land drops the good old-fashioned way.
Attack. 17.
And he's going to get in first. And is he going to use the Blueness Gatekeeper again?
Draw a card.
No, he's not.
3/4 draw a card.
Wow.
This is where you really get to see the power of up the beanstalk here.
Yep, Obria's Attendance is a cantrip in this spot. A land drop for Ken, but it's still not a mountain.
Yeah.
This is incredible. If I only looked at the deck list, I would say that Ken would win this like 8 out of 10 times or something. Like, not that Reid's deck is bad.
Reid's got a very solid
Ken's
ramp
is
strategy.
like super streamlined.
Right, but you know, if you miss a beat and Reid's deck is just doing its thing, it's just, of course, that this is just going to happen.
You're going to get ran over. And I mean, Reid's deck is good. I like his deck. And look at this, he's just cantripping into cantrips here.
Right, and at this point, I don't see Ken even just coming back, right? There's
No
just too
way.
many giant creatures on the battlefield here.
Totally. And that's going to do it. Oh, red cards in hand for Ken Takahama. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Literally every card was red. What a horrible draw, but what a great performance by Reid Duke. That sweet ramp strategy. He got just the window he needed to take advantage of it. You know, he could be under serious pressure and not have the chance to cast 5-mana spell or even to deploy up the beanstalk, but in this case he had all the time he needed and he took advantage.
Yeah, it absolutely worked out for him. You know, drafting this strategy, there is some risk involved, right? Because Reid's deck is really top heavy, right? We're looking at a bunch of Hamlet Gluttons, a bunch of 6s, a bunch of expensive cards, and if your opponents are pretty aggressive about killing your low drop creatures, you might just kind of stumble. That didn't happen here, and Reid's deck has plenty of mana. We saw the 3 Brave the Wilds. It's actually really sweet. I haven't seen a deck this consistent and linear.
Love it.
Doing the ramp thing.
Right, it was all early ramp cards and big finishers. It looked like
there was no in
between.
between.
He wasn't messing around on the in between. All right, so a great win for Reid Duke. He'll advance his way through. Of course, players are going to play 3 matches in their pod. We're going to be bringing you more of that. But first, we're going to take a short break, and then Maria at the news desk.